curious with a couple practices with Marcus Clark. Kind of what have you seen from him so far, and what do you think he's going to bring to the table in the secondary?
Marcus, obviously a lot of familiarity. Recruited him at Miami and was able to coach him there for a year. He can really run. He's got a great skill set, really, really good ball skills. I think he'll bring, I believe he started 3 or 4 games, so he's got playing experience. I think he'll bring that. We're going to still work him along as far as getting him in, making sure he's in shape. And I still honestly don't know about his immediate eligibility, so we're kind of waiting to see on that. But I think he'll just be able to bring a calmness to the group. You got Ennis and you have KD that have played a lot of football, and I think he fits kind of in that wheelhouse, probably from a skill set wise as well. So we're excited about him.
Do you hope to hear about that eligibility before you guys leave for Manhattan?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I really don't know. I haven't checked on it. I don't know where we're at with it, but yeah, of course we'd like to. If he could play, we'd love for him to be able to play. Yeah, what doesn't he do well? He's a dynamic player. I think what really separates him is his vision, his patience, and his balance. Gosh, man, when it looks like nothing's there, he makes something out of nothing all the time. He's good out in the pass game. I mean, he can do it all. He really can. And obviously, I'm not Mel Kiper and ranking the top running backs in the country, but it'd be hard pressed for me to find many better than him.
Last week you said you were just curious or wanted to see how your team would tackle in week 1. What did you think of the way you guys played?
I was pleased. We always aim for less than 15%. I think if you do that over the course of a year, that's pretty elite. And I think we were right at that mark. So overall, that was a big point of emphasis, like you just talked about, and really what we talked about leading up into the game, man, is there's going to be mistakes, but just run and hit. If you miss a tackle, your teammate's going to be there to help you out. So overall, I was pleased. I know this week will be, in my opinion, a much tougher challenge for us, but I thought for week 1, when that is your biggest concern usually as a defensive coordinator, I thought they did a really good job.
Would you expect them to try to do more things with Adrian Martinez this week? It seemed like last week they kind of just didn't ask a whole ton from him.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see more in the run game for sure out of him. I think they were probably I don't want to say holding back, but yeah, they were probably risk reward and probably were holding him back a little bit.
Coach, a lot of positives to be taken away from the game last week, but what's some things this week that you really honed in on that you think you need to work on before Manhattan?
Well, first thing, don't give up explosive plays. 3 explosive touchdowns. I think it was 176 yards and 21 points. We play a quality opponent, and very, very likely you're not going to win that game. So we've got to do a better job on the back end, and that starts with me. I had a long talk with the safeties coach after the game and, put him on the hot seat. So I'm the safeties coach. No, but we got to do a better job there. All kidding aside, we've got to do, and it's just technique things, things that we got to work hard on. But obviously there, and then this week they want to run the ball. I think they had 300 yards rushing. They've got an experienced offensive line. We've already talked about Deuce Vaughn, and Adrian Martinez has unbelievable speed. So we've got to stop the run first, but we can't give up the explosive pass.
He doesn't get all the fanfare that Deuce and Felix and all the other guys get, but what does he do well in tackle? And have you kind of told your defensive ends about the work they'll have cut out for them Saturday?
Yeah, I think he's a preseason All-American, so I think the work speaks for itself from that standpoint. But he's a powerful man. I think he plays with really good pad level. I think their entire offensive line is really well coached. You could tell they're in sync. But no, he's an outstanding player.
Like you guys said, obviously the 3 interceptions in the first half. I mean, how happy were you with the 14 turnovers, and is that something you can carry over into next week?
Yeah, it's something we preach, something we harp on, and I know JC and Joseph get the credit for it, but it really started up front. When you talk about Isaiah being able to get his hand on the ball, and then Christian Williams, those two guys deserve as much or more credit than the tip balls that the two safeties caught. So it's a total team effort. But yeah, it's something that I've said since day one, we're going to hunt tackles for loss, we're going to hunt negative plays, and we're going to hunt the football. So it was definitely a positive to see that in the first half.
Yeah, just to follow up, you mentioned Isaiah tipping that ball. It looked like you had Isaiah and Trajan, dropping back into coverage as defensive ends a few times. I mean, what does dropping the defensive ends into coverage do for your scheme, and why is that a part of it?
Well, I think in today's game with as many RPOs and everything else, I think those guys have to be, have the ability to rush the passer and then also supplement them and drop in the coverage. And it's really going to depend on what the game plan is for that week. But it's a skill set that'll help them go on to the next level. And I understand those guys, they didn't come here to drop into coverage, but they're both selfless young men and really all the defensive ends, for them to be able to sacrifice for the good of the team and understand that the impact that they made helped win us the game, even though it wasn't necessarily rushing the passer. But yeah, we're going to be multiple up front, and we're going to have the ability to drop those guys into coverage as well.
Coach, there's only a couple of us in here that are probably old enough to remember when Mizzou and K-State met up in the old Big 8 days. But what have you told the guys about going over to Manhattan and playing against Kansas State in a stadium that's roughly about the same size, but it's going to be packed and loud and, an old rival, so to speak, when you guys get over there?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to play there a couple times. Their fan base does a nice job of filling the stadium, but we always present them with what the stadium will look like and what feel like. But at the end of the day, we harp on playing a nameless, faceless opponent, and we got to block out that noise. And it's about us. How well are we going to tackle? How physical are we going to be up front? How well are we going to coverage on the back end? So at the end of the day, the football field is still the same size. We got to block out all the 50,000 fans or however many are going to be in that stadium and worry about what we can do on the field.
Well, I guess you're trying to sort of to fix the explosive plays. How much does Jalen Carlisle, somebody with a lot of speed, create good reaction times? How does he figure into that?
Yeah, I think obviously one of them was a technique error from him. So it wasn't necessarily a speed issue, something that he's just got to clean up from a footwork standpoint and from an eye standpoint. Same with Joseph on the other play. So both of those guys got plenty of speed, not to give up the deep ball. It's just I got to do a better job with teaching them the technique that we want them to play with.
And in the first game in the new role, how pleased were you with Marquez Manuel and Dalen Carnell?
They both played really, really well. I thought both of them had outstanding games. Again, both selfless players. I forgot the exact rep count, but they almost split time. But both of them, like I said, they add a little different flavor to the defense. But I thought both of them played outstanding in the role. Tackled really, really well. Both of those guys tackled outstanding. JC tackled outstanding as well. I thought both of those guys, or all three of those guys coming from depth, made some really good open field tackles.
Like some coaches like going up top on game day. What do you like coaching on the field?
There's a lot of different reasons. First and foremost, I like being able to look the players in the eyes when they're coming off the field, when making adjustments, but also when I'm giving the call, making sure that they get the call. Just having the ability to, in some ways, control the tempo of the game. So those are probably the two main reasons, but the biggest reason is the communication standpoint.
Coach, how does K-State, all those personnel sets that they're doing, how does that kind of affect, how you guys will set the edges and kind of contain the east and west running as well as trying to have gap discipline when they're trying to work this out?
Yeah, they do a good job. They're multiple in their personnels. They're multiple in their formations. They're multiple in their formations within those personnels. So they present some challenges in that way. And that's what this week's about, making sure that, the one thing about them is they're going to show us something that we haven't seen, either from a formation standpoint or a play standpoint or the combination of two. I think, they're very game plan oriented when you really break them down. So we got to learn concepts is what I'm trying to get to. And at the end of the day, we have to understand what our rules are, apply those rules out on the field.
Like you talked about Marquez and Dalen having great first night in their new roles. KD making his, I think, second career start at outside corner. What were your thoughts on his
I thought he played well. I thought the biggest thing that KAD brings, and I didn't realize even until he said it, that was his second game ever starting at outside corner, because he has a calmness about him. He never panics. He's never flustered. He's never too high, never too low. But I was pleased with his first game. I know if you were to ask him, he's going to say he could play much better. And that's probably true, but I thought for his first game and not being able to go through spring, I thought he played well.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, Martez Manuel had the brace going into the game on Saturday or on Thursday. Do you have kind of like a small update on him? Is it any action?
It hasn't limited him. I know he's supposed to get out of that either this week or next week. It might be like a game time decision if he's out of it, so I don't want to say one way or another. But he's come to the tail end of that, for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.